So give me your record. I want it now. We're gonna put this down as like a water bet type of thing here.
Fuck that. I want a case of top tier whiskey on this.
Well, I got you, bro. Give me a Nebraska record. I'm writing it down right now. This is gonna be on paper, on air. Lay that fucking wiener out there. What do you got for a record? Let's go.
Fuck. I will go just to be safe. I'm gonna go 8-4.
God damn it, man! Like you come in here talking all this shit, making it sound like Nebraska's gonna go like 10-2 or some shit and competing for a Big Ten title.
But to be fair, though, Purdue won the division last year at 6-3, or sorry, at 8-6. Should I say?
Get it, but you're not going to see that again this year.
I think you will, respectfully, because of the turnover in that division.
This fucking guy, man. I mean, what are you talking like? You acting like we're going 10-2, and then you switch it up on me and go 8-4. No, I got you. I'm gonna agree with most of your points on this. Colorado scares me more than it does you. Michigan, we're gonna chalk that up for now, right? Do I hope we win that game or be competitive? Absolutely. Illinois, I'm not putting it. I know Brandon Peters is gone. Those guys, like, I get it. Northwestern, Jesus, man. I like to say that's a W. They seem to play everybody tough, though. This division sucks. But Michigan State, Maryland, Maryland's got some people coming back, by the way. Depending on where we're at in the season. This is a lot of like if, ands, or buts here, but like, God, I'm gonna have you said safe. I was hoping you'd go 9 or 10 wins, man. I really was on the dot with 8-4, Christian. That was honestly where I was at. I don't want to say 7-5, then that's pretty much a 500 season. Fuck it, man. 9-3.
There he is.
9-3. I can't tell you who the 3 losses are, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard team to kind of.
It is.
If you're betting your mortgage on it, I would never do that. Not with this. But if you're betting the house on it, I mean, I could see a situation where they have 3 or 4 wins this year again, just as well as I could see them winning the division and competing for a Big Ten championship. Sorry, playing in a Big Ten championship game.
I will not. I can promise you, I will run around naked. This circle that I live in out here in Eagle, Nebraska, will win more than 4 fucking games this year. I can promise you that.
Are you gonna write that down?
It cannot get much worse than what it's been, bro. I mean, it can always get worse, yes, but not. We're gonna win more than 4 games. If it's 5, so be it. I don't see that happening. I definitely see Nebraska getting to a bowl game, which is 6 wins most years. I mean, you probably get in with that or qualify for that, I should say, most times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I that's where I'm at. That to me, even if the Christian is just that thing, if I get 6 wins, bro, we make a bowl game. That's a win in my opinion, because that is better than where the fuck we've been the last 4 years. Not the last 1 year, 2 years, 4 or 5, whatever it's been. It's been a while, bro. It's been a while.
Let me ask you this, because now you've got me curious. Oh boy. What is, and I kind of want to go a little bit broader spectrum here. Let's say Nebraska has a great year this year. They have a winning season.
What's considered great to you?
Again, everything's relative. So a good to great year for me for Nebraska, winning a bowl game, having a winning season.
6, 7, 8 wins. Okay.
6, 7, 8 wins this year. Yeah. Next year, they have 8 or 9 wins. The year after that, they have another 8 or 9 win season.
Okay.
At what point do you want to see more? At what point is that not enough? You know what I mean?
You ask a really good question here from a lifelong Nebraska fan, right? And most Nebraska fans are, man, I piss some people off when I say this, but a lot of Nebraska fans, casual Nebraska fans or Nebraska fans as a whole, like to think that we're every year is, we're flipping it around, right? Because they have all that faith because what they've seen in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s back in my dad's age and so on. Bo Pelini is a prime example of that, by the way. That guy won 9 games every fucking year and competed in bowl games. Now, he did get his ass kicked a lot, and I'm not a Bo Pelini hater. I think it was time for him to go because he couldn't handle the media, because the guy was a hothead, and it was just looking bad time and time again. And I'm not going to get stuck on that tangent. But when would it be enough, man? I don't know. Like, it has a lot to do with, like, I'm a very big advocate in, do you continue to get better year after year after year? You establish some sort of like identity, which I brought up earlier, if anybody's followed this podcast. And are you making kids better, like guys like that come to your program, right? Whether you're a 4-star, 3-star, I don't care about your stars. I don't give much credence to that. But are you getting better when you know, the time you entered the program and then left the program? And now I could say this right now. A lot of guys I've seen the last 4 or 5 years that, I mean, I could talk about the NFL because I'm more into that. Guys from Nebraska that leave Nebraska are, they're highly recruited. They were a 4-star, didn't do shit really at Nebraska overall. In the NFL, they somehow seem to produce. And I believe a lot of that is coaching. I want to see guys come into Nebraska as whether you're a 3-star, leave a fucking crazy good player, get to the NFL and be a great player, right? Now I can name a bunch of guys in the NFL. Shit, you can watch the national title game or the Super Bowl the other night, and a couple of Nebraska guys playing on both those teams. Didn't do really much for Nebraska when they were there. So I want, and other than Ndamukong Suh, obviously, but like, I mean, those are things I want to see. So like overall as a coach, when does it become enough? I'm not mad about competing, Christian, for Big Ten titles. That's my goal every freaking year. And I think that should be the goal for Nebraska, competing. And I mean that is like, you don't have to get there 7 straight years in a row, right? But I want to get back to where kind of Bo had us almost. He did play for, I think, a couple of them. Consistently every year being the team in this division as currently constructed, which I'm sure will change, being one of those top teams, right? I can handle that because I know that like once out of every 5 years, Nebraska should have that top 5 team. You know what I mean? Like, you see what I'm saying here, like kind of building up to that. And I know that takes time, and everybody right now in Nebraska would die for that. But becoming that, and I don't know what Matt Rule's plan is. Do I think Matt Rule's going to stay here forever being super successful? No, I don't think he's that guy that wants to be here forever. But if he can take us to that spot, and then we maybe get somebody else in later. I know we're talking hypothetically here, but that's a tough question, man. You put me on the spot with that one, man. That's a tough one. Like, I just want to see success, and I want to see us winning ball games against teams that we should fucking be winning against. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, you know, I asked the question because as a Georgia fan, I experienced that for decades. I mean, it was one of those things where, yeah, we were one of probably the most consistent teams in college football.
How many times did you guys go 10-2?
Jesus Christ. I mean, it felt like for majority of the 2000s, you know, and that's what ultimately got Mark Richt fired. You know, Nebraska is a microcosm of that. We were just happy to be competing for the SEC at certain points, you know. I think, you know, in covering Nebraska last year and getting a chance to kind of see the fan base in the comment section and in real life, here's the thing, you know, you have a winning season this year. Oh my God, they're going to have a Matt Rule day. You have a winning season the next year, but you still lose 4 or 5 games. Okay, you know, slightly disappointing. Year 3, year 4, you're doing the same thing. You have a sort of James Franklin-esque type thing there where
that's a perfect example.
You know what I mean? Where you're the 3rd or 4th best team in the Big Ten, but you're not really relevant on a national stage. Then it's kind of getting to the point where, as a fan base, we're looking for the next guy.
You're becoming complacent, basically. Like if you're okay with James Franklin right now, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to interject on that. I can talk about that guy because I think he's a damn good ball coach. I just don't know if he is the top. He's not the Jim Harbaugh. He's not the Ryan Day at Ohio State, right? He's not. Yeah. He's not there. He's had a lot of talent, though. The guy puts out NFL prospects right and left. That's where it kind of looks to me as like, is your coaching not up to standard with, and I'm sure as a fan base for Penn State, they're probably thinking the same thing, right? Like, why the fuck aren't we competing for one of these Big Ten titles? You know what I mean? Why are we not knocking off Michigan, you know, or knocking off Ohio State? They play them tough most of the time, but you know what I mean? And God, sorry to interject there, man. That was a perfect example of like, if you're a Penn State fan right now, are you happy with James Franklin? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
to me is like a very good comparison.
Which, I mean, that's kind of where I look at it too. I mean, let me go back here and let me look at it. Yep, just like I thought he went to Penn State. Yeah, I mean, here's the reality of it. I mean, that's become a pretty big thing now is like coaches going back to their alma maters and trying to kind of
Huge.
recreate it. Here's how I foresee this. If you, gun to my head and said, hey, how do you think this is going to play out? I think he's going to have, above average success at Nebraska. Do I think he's going to get him competing in the playoffs? Possibly, if it's an expanded format here in a couple of years.
That's going to happen.
I think that Penn State fans are going to get more and more pissed off that their team isn't competing or you know what I mean, or they're kind of in that other side, the Big Ten East.
Ohio State, Michigan, which is always boxed in every year, basically as being there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And they're kind of flip flopping with Michigan State and some of these other teams as to who's the third or fourth best team in that division.
Right.
And I think eventually they let him go or he goes somewhere else. And I ultimately think that's where Matt Rule will end up. And then that kind of leaves Nebraska at another sort of awkward sort of situation where they have to figure it out, where you're better than the Scott Frost tenure, you're looking to make that next step up. And I think that's where Ndamukong Suh comes in to play, and I think he becomes the head coach 2027.
I like that wink you gave me. I will say this, man. I'd love to see him. I think he retires after this year personally, obviously, but I'd like to see him come back here. I mean, he's donated a ton to Nebraska. We can get on him, but like I do, he really has a heart for the Skurs here, man. I'd love to see him come back and actually, you know what, coach that fucking defensive line, bro. That guy got robbed of a Heisman Trophy. He was the best player in college football, by the way. I could debate anybody on that all day, by the way. That guy was the best player in college football that year.
Yeah,
I know nobody wants to give it to defensive players. The only guy to ever win it, I believe, is Charles Woodson. So he had to play offense and fucking kick returner. So. But yeah, no, I'm with you 100%, man. I do kind of compare him to. That's where I kind of think with like my future with Matt Rule personally, just me as a person and a fan, a diehard fan, if you will. I kind of think that's where he's at, But like we haven't gotten there yet, so we have a lot to prove yet. But like if he does give us some 7, 8, 10 win seasons, and we kind of sit in that thing, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he wants to stay here for the rest of his life if he's successful. So. We don't know that yet. There's a lot to be determined. Obviously, that's why we're having this discussion. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like we're like you asked a really good question. Where are Nebraska fans at with it? That's going to vary so much in this state because there's people that are happy. People hated when we got rid of Pelini. There's still that fan base. I see it all the time on Facebook and other posts that like should have kept Pelini. We were happy with 9 wins every year. I was not. I thought some of those teams were way better than 9 personally, and I guess to me, I'm a realist. Like I think Nebraska should be competing every year for, a Big Ten title or being competitive in that this playoff is going to expand. That is happening. So I would like to see us get not every year if you don't get in there, but like have a shot, man. That's all anybody can hope for, right? You get in there, you win a couple games. Look at the NCAA tournament in basketball. You know what I mean?